Okay guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Alam nyo ba na umabot na pala ng mahigit 65,000 ang mga invitations na na-issue under express entry. And for the month of September alone, more than 10,000 na ang na-issue na invitations to apply. Ngayon, hindi ka pa rin ba nadodraw? Okay, so this episode is for you. Itong ating kakausapin, he is anticipating more draws, okay, to happen under express entry. And in this episode, we will talk about how to increase your chances. Baka meron kang pwedeng ayusin sa iyong profile, okay, na makakatulong sa'yo na mabunot o ma-meet, okay, yung cut-off score, kumbaga. Okay, ang ating kakausapin, yan, suki natin, Attorney Lou Dangzalan. Hello, Lou. Welcome
Hello.
back.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Alam mo guys, before kami nag-record, no? By the way, ang email ni Lou, ayan, yung nasa baba, no? Bago kami nag-record, ang daming numbers na pinapakita sa akin ni Lou. So sige, do you want to share that with us? Yung iyong summary of what has happened dito sa express entry this year? And ano pa ang draws ba na inaasahan mo? Forecast mo na mangyayari sa remaining months of 2025.
For sure. Yeah, so itong website na sinishare ko na ito yung previous draws, inclusive yung dalawang draw na recent from yesterday and the other day. So, in-isolate namin yung datos, tapos nilagay namin sa isang Excel table para mas madaling intindihin. Kasi minsan yung ganitong klaseng data hindi mo ma-manipulate, so ang hirap intindihin, 'di ba? So papakita ko yung nilagay ko sa Excel na, tas kinategorize namin. Chronological pa rin naman siya. Pero if you look at this, ito yung 2025 draws so far. And at the bottom, kinalkula nga namin na meron ng 65,500 and change in invitations under express entry na issue for 2025. And that broadly corresponds into two broad categories. Actually, there's a third, pero maliit lang siya. Ipapakita ko naman. So yung first na malaki is yung category-based draws, which umaabot sa 37,000 invitations. For Canadian experience class, about 20,000. And then the balance goes to provincial nomination. And if you squint and try to look into the data here, makita mo yung yung provincial nominations, trickle-trickle lang tayo. Nasa 3 digits lang tayo dito ng numbers.
Maliliit lang,
Maliliit lang siya compared to yung mga category-based. And kung i-breakdown pa natin yung category-based dito, tignan natin mabuti. Ito, so 37,000, di ba? Siyempre yung lion's share niyan, ang tumataginting na 25,500 pesos is papunta po tayo sa French.
Grabe.
Tagal-tagal na natin ina-advocate niyan. Pero yun nga, medyo ang daming naiinis dyan. Pero ito talaga eh. Ito yung priority. Wala tayong magagawa. Next, healthcare. Yun ang sumusunod na category na malaki. Sumusunod naman dyan is education, then trades. Ito na may isang ayon, and last na to dun sa aking presentation, Ina, promise.
Okay.
Ito na may sumasang ayon, ito dun sa dun sa levels plan na sinasabi nga ng Government of Canada. Ito yung tinable ng Government for Permanent Residence Planning. Titignan natin siyang mabuti under 2025 sa federal economic priorities nga dito na may 41,000. Itong number 5 na to, ito yung category-based. Diba? So nakalagay dito healthcare, trade, French language, etc. etc. Tapos in Canada Focus, ano naman siya? Ito yung CEC, Federal Skilled Worker and Federal Skilled Trades. And if we go back dun sa table na pinakita ko nga kanina, sabi nga dun, 'di ba? Hindi nga talaga naka-draw sa Federal Skilled Worker, kundi naka-focus sila sa Canadian Experience class. Ito yung dito or yellow na cells. Yung green na cells rather, yung Canadian Experience class. So, sumototal nito, I guess like final point dito before we discuss further is under express entry, meron na tayong 65,000 na draw for this year. And accordingly, yung nakaplano talaga, nakalatag talaga for for express entry, more or less dapat mga nasa 100, ano nga ba yung number na sinabi ko sa
More than 124,000.
Correct. Yun,
Oo.
more than 124,000 more or less. Pero you have to keep in mind na itong mga to, may mga asawa at may mga anak pa minsan. Hindi
Yeah.
naman ito mga single and ready to mingle, di ba? So, kaya nga nakalagay dun sa levels plan, shift ko lang ulit yung table dito to the other page para
Mhm.
makita talaga mas madali kasi siyang maintindihan. Yung supplementary information dito, according dito, meron siyang target, 'di ba? So nandun nga tayo sa 124,000 kapag inad ninyo itong economic priorities tsaka in Canada focus. Pag inad niyo yan, nasa 120 yan. Ngayon, ang punto ko dito, target yan. Pero merong low range, merong high range, 'di ba?
Alright.
Hindi naman kailangan eksakto yan, pero dapat pumasok siya dun sa range na yan. Dahil nga hindi naman natin mape-predict kung ano yung size ng families pa minsan, 'di ba? So,
Okay.
suma total, malapit na tayo. Today is September 19 as we record, pero malapit na natin hit yung target na 120,000 in my humble opinion. So,
Oh,
bakit ba importante 'to? Kasi planning, 'di ba? Una sa
yeah.
lahat, nabunot ka na ba? Yun yung unang tanong mo kanina, 'di ba? So, pangalawang question diyan, how do you optimize? How do
Yeah.
you make yourself available and ready to mingle and pickable for the next rounds of draws? And
Yeah.
finally, today is September 19 as we record, as I said. Parliament is open. The government of Mark Carney is going to put forward their budget. And ito na, budget season na nga. And time na rin for immigration to table its annual report to the parliamentary body na kailangan every year nga sila nagre-report, diba? And kasama dito, usually nagsasama sila ng supplement for levels plan. Dito napapasok yung question mo kanina. Nasaan ba yung proportion and priorities ng Canada sa mga succeeding years? I know, doon sa table na pinakita ko kanina, and alam din naman natin na yung planning nun was 25 to 27, di ba?
Yeah.
2025 to 2027. Pero madalas na natin nakikita nagkakaroon ng adjustments. Usually, nandun pa rin tayo sa numbers na yun. Pero yung question dito is allocation. So last year, 2024, for example, was a banner year for provincial nominations. Daming allocation ng PNPs. For 2025, because nagka-backlash nga sa immigration, binawi yung numbers, dumiit ng husto, at binawi sa federal level, napunta sa federal priorities. Ngayon,
Okay.
nag-uusap-usap pa ang mga probinsya, nagagalit sila, maalma, balik yung mga allocation. So nagkakaroon ng rumblings, nagkakaroon ng mga
Oh.
usapan, nababalik daw. Hindi tayo sigurado. Marites pa lang to at this time.
Oo, so ibig mo sabihin, Luno, yung table na pinapakita mo kanina about the targets could change again dahil nga ongoing ngayon ng presentation ng budget, pag-prepare, I guess, review din of immigration targets. Ay nako, aabangan na lang natin yan, ano? Because as you mentioned, I guess provinces want their allocations back. But then
Correct.
at the same time, of course, the politicians are looking at surveys, showing the
Mhm.
sentiment of the public about
Oo.
immigration. Kailangan nilang balansehin yan, di ba? Ay,
Yeah.
nako. Okay, anyway. So ano ba, Lu? I'll be straightforward. Ano pa ba nga asahan nating draws? Anong nakikita mong hindi pa nado-draw? For example, sa category-based.
No, sa
Meron ano?
category-based, ano pa bang hindi nado-draw ngayon? Well, nakita natin na nag-draw marami sa French, tapos
Mm.
healthcare, tapos trades and education. Hindi pa nagdo-draw sa STEM, 'di ba?
STEM.
Wala pang
Okay.
draw for STEM. So if you go back to this particular table, yung table mismo ng Government of Canada, Ministerial Instruction, ito. Yan. So kung titignan natin ang ang draws for for like the last few years, for example, if I put STEM, ang last draw was April 2024 pa,
Wow.
'di ba?
Pero ang dami
Tagal
din nun,
na.
So you think ganito kalaking bagsak din?
I
Considering it's going to
mean,
be the first one.
yeah, considering na we're down to the last quarter of the year, it's possible na, yun nga, baka mag-isang bagsak sila. Will it be in the same range of the numbers? You have to understand that 2023 and 2024, mas malaki ang number allocation for permanent resident. The pie was bigger.
Oh, yeah,
So, hindi
okay.
ako sigurado kung mataas yan. Lalo na ang laki ng tinaas for French. Sino pa bang
Yeah.
hindi nagdo-draw? Well, banggit na natin si trade, si education, si healthcare. Kung babalik tayo sa category-based or
Agree.
express. I don't know, to be honest. Hindi ako optimistic for that one. Agri-food, ano,
Oh,
yung ibig mo sabihin.
oo.
Hindi ako optimistic kasi kung pupunta ka dito, last was February, tapos tignan mo yung numbers.
Wait. Ilan ba? 150, hundreds lang pala, no?
Parang
And yet
nilagay
they
siya.
always talk about this, no? Na malaki ang pangangailangan for agri-workers.
You
Bakit
know
kaya
why?
ganun? Oh.
Yeah, you know why? Because we have the agri-food pilot pa kasi.
Doon
Ah,
sila
mas pumupunta yung mga applicants doon. Pangalawa, hindi din naman kasi permanent yung need. Di ba nga kaya nga meron tayong seasonal agricultural worker program? So, doon siya nakatuck in. Pero to actually like let them settle, maliit talaga yung allocations. And I suspect this is just to appease rural voters and the base of certain parties. It's very political. In other words, yun yung sinasabi ko dito. So, kung agri, medyo hindi ako kampante na magkakaroon talaga. So, nabanggit na natin si French, healthcare, STEM, trade, agri, education. Kompleto na siya. So, basically, for this year, ang hindi pa talaga na-draw is si STEM tsaka si agriculture. Diba?
Alright.
So,
How
more
about,
likely, go
yung
ahead.
education, do you think there will be another draw for education or maybe more for healthcare?
I am not optimistic if I'm going to be honest pagdating sa education. Kasi bago to tignan mo. Yung allocation niya is 3,500 in total for this year. Sorry, na-draw na rather. And I suspect na nilagay din ito not necessarily because may chronic shortage ng education workers. We have to understand when the levels plan is like laid out yung update nga this coming fall. There are rumors, may mga ugong-ugong na baka i-chepwera itong education from category based. May mga ugong-ugong. I cannot confirm. So it's not confirmed. But we cannot deny either na meron nga talagang mga ugong-ugong na itong si education ay baka mawala.
Oh no, grabe. Ang dami pa namang na-excite tayo mga kababayan dyan.
And then I think pre-recording you were mentioning something about the trades, di ba? Now this is interesting kasi sa trade, kung pupunta tayo dito sa isa pang website dito, ilipat natin to.
Yung sinasabi po ni Lou, because following yesterday's draw sa trades, ang nakita ko ang observation ko sa mga reaction ng mga sinusundan kong immigration professionals online is masyado daw maraming cooks doon sa pool for that category, to the point na yung mga na-draw, kumbaga masyadong marami na cooks, na itsipwere yung ibang trades professions na highly in demand rin, ano?
Naalala mo yung singing cooks and waiters? Or baka di mo na naabutan yun?
Barrio Fiesta?
Oo.
Ano to? Okay.
Naalala ko lang sila bigla. But in any event, yun nga, tama yung point mo kasi pinasok si cooks dito sa trades na tama naman, totoo naman, it is a trade. Pero kasi kung titignan mo, ang dami ditong trade occupation na related to a chronic shortage din of skilled workers in the construction industry. So, is it possible na later on, baka i-disaggregate pa further ito ng immigration na trades, pero may trades occupation na construction, tapos merong trades in general na kasama pa rin si cooks? Or baka pwede rin i-echapwera si cook? Kung hindi naman ganun kalaki yung demand for that. Kasi, yun nga, tama yung point mo kasi madami kasing mga establishment who are willing to hire people as cooks na halos walang training. Diba? Pasok naman talaga. Kasi pwede siyang i-train on the job. In other words, although not to diminish yung skills na meron talaga yung mga chefs and cooks natin. My sister is a chef kung merong mga mambabash sa akin dyan. But my point being is that, it's a profession na pwede kang mag-entry level kasi occupationally, pwede kang pasok dun sa NOC category ng cook. Basta okay yung employer to train you. And yung jurisdiction, walang requirement to actually have you licensed. As far as I know, in Canada, wala naman licensing requirement to be a cook.
Yeah.
Diba? So, yun nga yung iniinda ng mga ibang consultant and ibang representatives. And tama ka, meron ngang disconnect dito kasi supposedly yung policy objective ng pagkakaroon ng trades is to address the gap dun sa construction industry nga, 'di ba? Dahil
Yeah,
meron nga tayong housing crisis. So parang paano
oo.
na-address ni Cook yung housing crisis?
Oo nga. But anyway, pero 'yan nga ang nangyari. So now, Lou, okay, now, hindi pa nado-draw yung mga nanonood
Hmm,
sa'tin. Oh, meron pa tayong mga inaasahang ilan. For example, STEM or ano man. What can
hmm.
they do to adjust, ano ba, their profiles, to boost their scores? Or what else, yeah, what can they do to help
Well,
increase their
madami
chances
pang
of getting.
puwedeng gawin. In theory, madami pa talagang puwedeng gawin. Pero siguro, let's take 2, 3 steps back. Sino ba
Okay,
talaga ang dapat mag-express entry? Kasi
okay.
una sa lahat, sa express entry, pinupuntusan kayo sa mga iba-ibang factors, gaya ng
Mm,
education, work experience. So kung na-maximize niyo na yung education ninyo, alam mo, may bachelor's kayo, master's, or PhD, then good for you. Nakokontrol niya yan. It takes time to get there and takes a lot of work. Pero yung mga factors na hindi niyo nakokontrol, like age, ano ba
yeah.
yung guidepost dito? Siguro tignan natin. You get full points for age if you are above 21 and
Mhm.
under 30. The minute na
Okay,
mag-hit ka ng 30, dahan-dahan mababawasan ang iyong puntos hanggang sa umabot ka sa 0 at age 45.
okay.
So, ang tinitignan ko ditong critical, Ina, is if I have a consultation, tinitignan ko yung age factor kaagad, una sa lahat, kasi wala kang control diyan, 'di ba? Kung ika'y over 35, naku, tapos mahaba-haba pa yung hahabulin in terms of like points. Kailangan mag-accumulate pa ng certain, work experience. Malaki problema natin. And in
Okay.
fact, ideally, under 33 ka para at most 15, 20 points pa lang yung nababawas sa age points mo, 'di ba? So that's number 1. Number 2, kung yung language scores mo ang baba, meron ka pang room for maneuver. This is a thing that is under
Okay.
your control, 'di ba? So kung yung CELPIP mo, doon na lang sa CELPIP kasi yung CLB kasi naka-anchor kasi sa CELPIP, kaya mas madaling intindihin 1 to 10 scale, 'di ba? So kung meron kang 10s across the board sa iyong CELPIP, abay award.
Okay.
Sa inyo na ang FAMAS, good for you.
Oo.
Pero kung yung CLPIP ninyo, meron pang pumapalo sa 8, abay may room pa for improvement. So, sige, go. Labanan
Mag-take
niyo
ka
pa
ulit.
'yan, puwede pa.
Oo.
Meron pang konting abulin diyan. Ang tawag dito ay points efficiency na for express entry, 'di ba? Kasi
Oo.
halimbawa 4 factors, 8 ka, o 'di ba? So, ang laking puntos yung nawawala sa'yo dun. Let's just say factor of 3 to 5 points per factor. So, 20 points
Mm.
din yun. At tandaan natin, meron tayong skill transferability points for express entry na nakatali sa language and work experience in Canada. So, in other
Oh,
words, the higher your language points are and the more you have work experience, the more you have bonus points. Dun
oh, maganda.
humahataw ang mga tao. So,
Okay.
nothing lower than 9, ideally. Kung kaya niyong hatawin ng 10, hatawin ninyo ng 10. Ganun
Oh,
dapat ang mentality. Ngayon, kung nasa 10 na kayo, ano pa po pwedeng yung kontrolin sa language? Aba, ito na. Magagalit ka na naman sa akin at
oh,
yung iba dyan, iiyak na
oh.
naman. French. Yun
Naku, ang
pa,
tagal
pwede
na,
nyo pang
alam mo,
habulin.
tagal na nating sinasabi yan, eh. Kung nag-aral na kayo ng French dati, baka na-draw na kayo.
Baka
Malapit
nga,
na
di
kayong
ba?
makapasok diyan sa pool na yan.
25,000. Pero sidebar natin yung discussion na yan quickly lang kasi nakikita ko rin yung trends sa French. Pataas ng pataas din yung cutoff score. So, ibig
Oo,
sabihin, may mga nakikinig.
oo,
Or kung
oo.
yung iba naman na competitive, talagang inuunahan na nila. So, yung pinaka-recent na draw under French was 440s yung cutoff. But before that, if you look, nasa 470s, 480s ata yung cutoff. That's not the norm for French. Normally, dapat mga nasa 440s and below. So, anong
Okay.
nangyari? 'Di ba? So,
Yeah.
tumaas yung quality ng candidates. I mean, tignan mo nga yung trades, 'di ba? Hindi naman mababaw yung draw. Those were 1,250 invitations. Sure, medyo mababa. Pero kahit na, kasi nag-draw na for education. So you would assume yung 2,500 under education, medyo nakabawas sa mga high-flying scores, di ba? Pero hindi.
Oo.
It turns out na mas mataas pa yung cut-off score sa trade kaysa sa education. Yari, di ba?
Yeah.
So talagang mas nagiging competitive talaga siya. So, yung napag-usapan na natin, age. Kapag ka over 35, nako, tingin na kayo sa iba. Unless kaya nyo habulin yung French, tas perfect yung English ninyo.
Mhm.
Pangalawa, language. Kaya nyo pa bang pataasin yung CELPIP ninyo? Ngayon, kung mataas na yung CELPIP ninyo, go for French. Kaya nyo yan in 12 months. Baka makakuha pa kayo additional 25 to 50 points. Hindi natin alam. Diba?
Yeah.
Kaya yan. Pangatlong point dito is, nasan pa ba yung ibang points? Well, nasa work experience, diba? Pero kung nasa Canada ka na, syempre, nagbabangko ka na ng Canadian work experience. Pero, Ina, I wanna say, yung profile ng mga applicants na mga na-approve from 2020 to 2025, ang dami sa kanila straight out of high school or straight out of finishing college sa Pilipinas. Diba? In other words, halimbawa, kakatapos mo lang ng K-12, anong ginawa mo? Nag-aral ka sa, let's say, sa Fanshawe, sa London, Ontario. A 2-year program or even 3-year associate diploma, for example, 3-year program, kunwari. So, nandun ka. Wala kang work experience from the Philippines. Kasi nung high school, hindi ka naman trabaho, for example. Diretso, di ba? Typical naman yan sa mga nakatapos ng high school sa atin. So, wala kang foreign work experience. So, yung ina-accumulate mo lang is Canadian skilled work experience. Pero tandaan, ang maximum points for foreign work experience is up to 3 years. So, 3 years yung nawawala sa yung work experience from abroad. Malaking puntos ang nawawala sa iyo.
So what you're saying is, what, they go back home and...
Baka pwede silang umuwi.
Oh my.
Kung paubos na yung kanilang PGWP. So, bigyan kita ng scenario.
Okay.
Natapos ako, yung estudyante ko, natapos natapos siya ng K-12 at ilang taon, 19 years old, kunwari. Pumunta ng Canada, nag-pursue ng 3-year program sa Fanshawe. So, natapos siya 22 years old. For example, nag-accumulate siya ng 2 years work experience in London, Ontario, let's say as a skilled worker, pharmacy technician, for example, kunwari. Pero sabihin na lang natin hindi siya kasama sa category base, kaya hindi pa rin siya nabubunot, di ba? Yung score niya dapat dito, pumapalo siya ng mga upper 400s to low 500s. Dapat nandun yung score niya for CRS kung perfect niya yung English niya. Okay?
Alright.
So ano pa ba yung room for improvement? Well, pwedeng mag-accumulate pa siya ng isa pang taon sa Canada. So at age 23, 24, may additional points pa yun for 3 years of work experience in Canada. Kaso nga lang, ano mangyayari after 3 years of work experience in Canada? They usually paso na yung PGWP, di ba?
Yeah.
So ano mangyayari? O paano yan? LMIA ba? No. Maybe the best option for this person is actually to go back to the Philippines and work in a skilled position for 1 year. So from 500 for 1 year, 12 months dapat kasi yun yung requirement for federal skilled worker program and for foreign skilled work. Okay. So kung uwi siya with 3 years under the belt ng Canadian work experience, full points for age, full points for English, uwi siya sa Pilipinas. Dalawa option niya or both. As a third option. The first option is magtrabaho siya, skilled work. Kahit ano, skilled work, dire-diretso 12 months. After 12 months, accumulating that, tataas yung points pa niya to 530s, 40s.
All right. Wow, no? Pero mapapaisip, that's a big move, That's a big decision.
Pero the alternative is, anong gagawin mo sa Canada ng nakatenga? Hindi ka pwede magtrabaho. Diba? Pwede ka rin. Option options. Option number 2. Pwede siyang umuwi. Tapos mag-aral siya ng French. Or, pwede siyang mag-visitor extension sa Canada, mag-convert into visitor record after the PGWP, punta siya sa Quebec City. Mag-immersion siya 6 months. Siguro naman nakaipon ka na after 3 years of studying in Canada, di ba? Buhos mo yung 6 months na yun, full time.
Ano yung immersion na yan sinasabi mo?
Immersed ka sa French culture and language.
To learn the language, you mean.
Exactly. Okay. Because in Quebec City, it's mostly in French. And persado ka dahil exposed ka 24/7 in French, di ba? Nag-aaral ka doon. Let's say, umaga yung classes mo, 3 to 4 hours. Tapos sa hapon, self-study ka. Kasi may naipon ka naman, di ba? Yeah. So, ganun. So, pwede ka ngayon maging qualified under the French category-based draws. Di ba?
Alright. Okay.
Eventually. Basta makuha mo yung CLB7 sa French, di ba? Ganun nga. Yeah. Pwede mo rin naman yan gawin outside Canada if you really want to. Halimbawa, yung mga mga mas adventurous dyan. Halimbawa, gusto nyo visa-free entry for a French-speaking country for Philippine passport holders, Morocco. Diba? Morocco is visa-free. Punta kayo doon. Daming mga French language schools doon. Mura pa ang cost of living. Diba? Tapos kuha kayo ng remote job, digital nomad kayo sa Morocco, they're welcome over there. Diba? So may mga ways. And yung digital nomad work experience mo would count towards foreign work experience.
Okay. O, sige, let's move on. Dito naman, sa category-based draws, I'm looking at my notes kasi na pinrepare si Lulo just so we stay focused sa ating discussion. How to qualify and maximize your chances for category-based draws. So there are different options that you are talking about here, ano?
Yeah.
Talagang palit ka ng trabaho or uwi din muna. Can you explain to us a little bit? Yeah.
So yung palit trabaho, mas intuitive, di ba? So for example, kanina we hinted na ang daming biglang naging cook, di ba? Kasi tandaan, for category-based draw, kailangan lang 6 months of experience accumulated in the last 3 years. Okay. So itong work experience na to, as long as you have legal authorization in Canada, so kahit student ka pa, basta ma-accumulate mo yung 6 months na full-time. Kung part-time yun, kailangan ma-combine mo siya as full-time. In other words, kung 6 months yung requirement, kailangan 1 year ka na part-time, diba? Para maging doble. So anyway, so long story short here, pag na-accumulate mo yon, nagpalit ka ng trabaho, mag-qualify ka. Ano pa ba yung mga iba? Well, may mga nakikita ako mga business grads, for example, Tina. Na biglang nagiging, di ba kasi generalist yan, di ba? Na nakaka-tsempo ng trabaho sa isang pharmacy as pharmacy assistant. Nakatulong na ako ng mga ibang clients ko na gano'n na wala namang background in healthcare. Healthcare adjacent sila, pwede yung trabaho nila. Naging maybe like informal PSW sila as student. Ganun, di ba? Tapos, yun nga, nung nakagraduate, nakakuha sila ng trabaho sa isang pharmacy, let's say Rexall or sa Shoppers as a pharmacy assistant. Pasok yun sa category-based draws. Diba? You only need to accumulate 6 months in the last 3 years. Diba? Whether as a student or as a PGWP holder or kahit maintain status, okay lang. Yeah. Yun. Tapos magka-count siya. Tapos kung pumasok ka doon, pwede ka mag-qualify under healthcare category-based. Yung second scenario na pinag-usapan natin na uwi naman, meron kasi mga iba na pumupunta sa Canada, magsu-student, mga doktor na, mga pharmacist na, yung pasok na sila sa category-based, pero hindi kaagad sila gumagawa ng express entry profile kasi sinabihan sila ng ahente nila, tapusan nyo muna yung program nyo. Pumunta sila dito noong 2023, di ba? Launch na si category-based. So, hindi sila naabisuhan ng maayos. Dapat nun pa lang nag-create na sila. Kasi pwede sana silang ma-capture nung category-based. So, meron ako mga inabisuhan, for example, ang ginawa namin, kasi tandaan yung qualification for category-based, it's 6 months in the last 3 years. Pero kung natapos nyo na yung 2-year program ninyo sa Canada, tapos 1 year na kayo sa PGWP, syempre yung work experience sa Pilipinas, lampas na ng 3 months, ng 3 years.
Oo nga. Okay.
So, di ka naabot. So, anong pwedeng remedyo dyan? Well, magpalit ka ng trabaho into Canada, or kung talagang hindi kaya, hindi mo mahanap yung trabaho na pasok dun sa category-based sa Canada, dahil nga ang hirap nga ng trabaho ngayon, di ba? Uwi ka muna. Kung kaya kang saluhin ng employer mo sa Philippines, pasok ka doon sa category na yun. Halimbawa, doktor. Pasok ka mga physicians. 6 months, uwi ka muna. Mahaba pa naman yung PGWP mo, di ba? Sa 2028 pa mag-expire, for example. Uwi ka muna. Kamusta naman yung family mo? Halimbawa, si asawa na PGWP holder or spousal open, si mga anak mo, kailangan ba nilang sumama sa Canada? Not necessarily. If you want to, sure, uwi muna kayo. Yeah. Or, kung nandito na sila sa Canada, tapos nag-aaral na disruptive, gets ko, ikaw lang muna, medyo magtayang dama ka muna, diba? Exactly. 6 months muna kayong LDR. Pagkatapos ng 6 months, balik ng Canada. Diba? Yeah. Nandun na yung 6 months ulit. Pasok ka ulit sa category-based.
Ay. Okay. Grabe, no? These are very interesting options, ano? Talagang, okay.
Not the easiest, but effective.
Okay, ito naman. Nako, PGWP, medyo na-cover na rin natin to. Yung mga naka-work permit, what are their chances sa express entry?
Babalik tayo dun sa sinimulan ko kanina. Ilang taon na kayo? Kung under 35 kayo, baka may chance pa. Lalo na kung mababa yung English language test ninyo, kaya nyo pang paspasan yan na umabot kayo ng 10s across the board. Guys, I know, parang 10, ang hirap naman yan, attorney. 10, ang hirap naman yan, Ina. Grabe naman to si attorney. Parang ang taas naman ng expectation niya. Pero guys, ito talaga. Ito yung labanan. Sorry. If you have scores na lower than 9 kasi talaga, ano talaga siya, pumapalo siya sa score ninyo. Talagang tina-tamp down talaga yung chances ninyo for the purposes of express entry. Granted, may mga ibang programs diyan, like the Atlantic Immigration Program, na mas mababa yung bar, 'di ba? So, ito yung tanong, kakakuha mo lang ng work permit mo, 'di ba? Whether it's a PGWP, closed work permit, etc., etc. Mag-express entry ka ba? Depende. Ang
Oo.
unang factor nga, sabi ko, age. Pangalawa, language capacity. Pangatlo, yung iyong work experience in the past.
Yeah.
Pasok ba siya? So, pasok ba siya sa category-based? Meron ka bang
Mm.
3-year experience from abroad? Or meron ka bang experience in Canada? Depende talaga to sa mga factors na to kung paano sila naglalaro together. Ngayon, kung mahina, the best option is to go for programs na hindi points-based. And sadly, most programs today are now points-based. Ang mga natitira na lang na non-points-based, and I think napag-usapan niyo to ni Dayanara the other day,
Oh.
is yung Rural Community Immigration Pilot, pati yung French community. Obviously, French is required. Itong Atlantic Immigration Program, na hindi points-based. You just need a job offer, and then you need the endorsement, etc., etc. And direct entry siya. Finally, certain provincial nomination provinces look into Nova Scotia, Newfoundland and Labrador, and Prince Edward Island. Note na hindi ko mention ang New Brunswick kasi points-based na rin sila. And today is, final point, today is September 19. I cannot tell you if these programs that I just mentioned will remain to be non-points based. Kasi 2 years ago, si Alberta, sobrang bukas na bukas. 'Di ba? Tapos all of a sudden, biglang naging points based na sobrang naging competitive.
Yeah.
So,
I know, that's how it is, no? Pabago-bago, hindi rin natin alam. Baka in a week, yung mga advice natin hindi na applicable, di ba? Wala, yun talaga nangyayari.
Exactly.
Hi, but okay, well, I hope this episode's been, is going to be helpful sa mga kababayan nating medyo nalulungkot pag nakakabalitang nag-draw na naman, pero wala sila, hindi sila umabot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, think about your other options. Don't get stuck only in express entry.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much, Lou, as always, for being here. Again, his email is down there if you want more questions. You can consult him about your specific case. Yan, iba-iba yan, syempre, guys. Ano? Okay, so I'll end this episode here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!